Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with the JavaScript part to build this game. Pretty simple one. It's not really that much of a big deal. How do we plan this game out? Now, I have talked a whole lot in detail about how to plan or make a structure of these big scale application in my MERN course. But right now, I'm going to give you just bare minimum brief idea. I cannot do it like in depth because it's not really a big project, so it's not going to make sense. So first and foremost, what we're going to do is let's see how much of the potential methods we are going to need. First, when I click on this, so it should flip. So there should be some method known as flip or maybe flip card or something like that. And then obviously a method for success, a method for fail, a method for resetting the event, and then a shuffling method which shuffles all of these cards up there. For shuffling part, I'll talk in a little bit later because it involves a little bit of the flexbox as well, so I need to discuss a little bit there, but we got the idea that briefly how much of the things are required. So first and foremost, let's just say this is going to be a function. Let's call it as flip. Yes, I'm writing the old school way of JavaScript, but I would recommend later on to refactor this into arrow functions. You can do it right now, but I recommend it to do later on. Now we're also gonna need a function of success. So there we go, success is up here. We also gonna need a function that fails, not gales, fail, there we go. And we need a function for reset, definitely. And finally, we are going to need something, so I'm going to add a simple to do. That's going to be simply for shuffle. Shuffle all the cards or all the emojis, however you want to do. So we're going to do this one later on. Okay, we're going to see how we're going to flip that in a second. But first and foremost, it's very important that you grab all the cards. So if I look at HTML, notice here all the cards are having this class of cards. So this is a perfect example in front of me to introduce you with another thing which we haven't touched here, which is query selector all. We have seen the query selector, which selects the very first item, but what happens when we select all of them through query selector all? So let's just say if I just say cards and I use document dot query selector all, so this guy, and I provide a class to it that, hey, just give me all the card. Was it card or cards? I think card. Yeah, card. So what it gives me back, that's the most important thing. So let's go ahead and log this. So let's see what we get as cards. And this is a point which actually confuses a lot of people. And I have attached everything HTML and all these JavaScript file already, so don't worry too much on that. If I look on the console, what we get is this node list. Yes, there are 16 of them. So we got a node list, and a lot of people get confused when they open this up that, okay, there's 0, 1, 2, 3, what, and this is doing some stuff. What they miss is the keyword list. List is kind of alternative word, not exactly, but kind of alternative word for array. So node list is nothing more than array, and you can actually loop through that. So most important thing, with anything that's giving you these kinds of node list, you'll be doing that a lot in JavaScript, so make sure you keep an eye on that. And what we can do as for fun here, let's just say we are having this cards. Since it's an array, I can use my favorite for each here. And for every single card, let's call it as C, or we can call it as card 2. Then we are going to go ahead and do a console log here. But let me just, for 1 minute, let me just try to give you something that we want to flip all of the card when they are being clicked. So what should I add up here? In case you haven't guessed it up here, I think you should rewatch the series. We can pull off this add event listener, and in the event listener, I'm going to say look for a click event and provide me a reference of this flip method. Okay, and right now what this flip method is going to do, it's going to simply go ahead and log the value, and it's going to say something like card flipped. So let's see that how this is going on. And if I try to just clean this up, hit a reload, we get a node list, so that's okay. I click on this card, it says card flipped. I say this, again a card flipped, it moves to 2, and there we go. So now a listener is there for every single of them, and that listener is able to get me a click on that. And I can click on any one of them. Nice and easy so far. But how can I actually enable the flipping property on these cards? Because enough of these console logs. It's actually super easy to have this, let's just say. Now what also we get this, it's important that you get an idea of this. If I go ahead and try to print this here, you're going to notice something different here. Let's just see this. I come back here. When I click on this, notice that this keyword right now, when I click on this guy, this means, hey, you are calling me for this one here. So this is what it gives me back. And if I click on this evil one, and notice it gives me. So this is very important that you figure out first and foremost what your this is pointing right now. Once you click on this, that means that's your whole context. And right now, this is pointing towards this object only. Okay, very important one. We're going to play around a lot with this. So if you get any of the confusion here, I'm going to leave all of these as a comment for you. So let's just go ahead, do like this. Come on. There we go. Nice and easy. So now that I know that this is holding that particular card, I can go ahead and say this dot, and I can add a class list to that. So this dot class list dot add, not add event listener, and I can add just a class of flip. Now this class flip is already written in the CSS, so you don't need to worry too much on that. Just wanted to give you that, yes, you can add any class like that. I come here and notice when I click on this, it reveals it. So there we go. This is not happening because on these ones, the class is already there. So you can, this is a good time to practice for the toggle. But notice one of the tasks, I'm able to do this. So I'm able to just put these classes on them. So now it's a good time if I go into HTML and remove all the flip class that I added to just show you the stuff. So I'm going to go ahead, remove this and save that. And there we go. Now I have reached to a stage where I can actually open up all of these guys, which is already very cool. Okay, but do I want to just flip all of them? No, I don't want to do all of them. I want to keep a track of which one I'm clicking, which one I'm not clicking, and stuff like that. So for that, we are going to need a few variables. So let's just say that we are going to need variables. Okay, what are the variables that we are going to need? First and foremost, I want to keep a track whether things has already been flipped or not. So I'm going to simply say is flipped, which is going to be Boolean here. So we're going to start with false. Nothing has been clicked or flipped as of now. We're also going to need a keep of track it whether it's a first card or it's a second card, because we want to match the two card. So we're going to say first card. And we are also going to need a second card. So second card. You can 100% initialize with the null, but since already they got the null or undefined, they are going to serve the same purpose. So you can actually leave this part. You can just declare them, no initialization. But if you want to initialize with undefined or null, they are going to serve the same purpose in the if and else. So feel free to do so if you want to. Okay. So that's the basic part we got covered up. Now, we're going to modify this flip method a little bit. So once you go on to click this method, it actually flips the things for you, but I want to do something little more after that. So first and foremost, I'm going to go inside this and I'm going to check if it is not is flipped. Okay, now this might confuse a lot of you. So this flipped is already starting with the false. So right now, in order to go inside this if and do something, I have to use this exclamation, which is going to turn false into true. So this is a reverse logic checking. Pretty common in the programming world. Everybody does that. So this is what we are doing. Now, since somebody is clicking on that, so very first time this flip method actually clicks in, you are flipping that thing. Okay, that's all done. Now you're going inside this one. The very first thing that you want to do here is switch on this flag, because we are inside it right now. Somebody has already clicked on that. Let's go ahead and do that. So first and foremost, is flipped is going to turn into true, so that next time I cannot go inside this one. Okay. Another thing that I have to do is keep a track of the first card. So how can I keep a track of this first card? Remember, this is the exact reason why I told you keep a track of this. So it's really simple, easy. This is my first card, and this is going to hold the reference of whatever the current this is. Okay, nice and easy, no problem so far. And now what we're going to do, we're going to write an else part of it. We're going to simply say else. If this is already true, that means next time you come up, you see this one as true and exclamation makes it false, so you'll not go inside it. And that means you'll go into my else block. Otherwise, you are clicking for the second time. So this second card variable is going to keep a track of this now, which is the current context on where you are clicking. Okay, and once you have clicked both of the card, then I should actually check whether it is a success or fail. So I can do this check up here, or I can write another method here, which is going to do checking for me. So let's just say check it. And there we go, like that. I can call this method here, check it, just like that. There we go. Can it be more optimized? Yes, of course. But right now, let's just say we're going to come up here and we're going to simply say log, and we're going to say checking, just like that. Let's see if so much of the logic is working or not. Let's just say I click on this one, it gets flipped on. I click on this one and the checking comes in. Now, are we checking the same guys or not? So furthermore onto this, I would like to go ahead and before it does all the checking, since I've declared my variable at the top, I can access them here or anywhere because they are global. I would like to print these variables. What is holding this second card and first card? So I'm going to go ahead and log this. So first and foremost, first card, and I'm going to make a duplicate and I'm going to say, please give me second card, if I wrote that correct. Let's save this and try to have this one again. So this one and this one, notice it's not going to run for the first time because we have written the code in the else part. So switch needs to be turned off, on, however you say that. And notice, there we go. So we are getting these two ones, nice and easy. We can hover them and see, yes, we are on the exact same thing. Check it one more time to something different one. Let's just say this guy and this guy. So there we go. Both of them are getting fever face, fever face. Both of them are having same data image variable or the data. And we are checking also. Okay, so far so good, no problem at all. Now let's see that how we are gonna do the check here. And some of you might have guessed, based on this data image, we can actually grab it. So somehow if I can grab this data image, I can actually grab that. I can grab the variable name or the name of this source as well. But in majority of such situation, the data image or anything data attribute or similar attribute is being checked. If you look at the source code of something like YouTube or something, you're going to see these data attributes quite a lot. And they are used for exactly same reasons. Okay, quite easy. Let's go ahead and do that. So instead of doing this console log, we can comment that out. I'm leaving all the code for you so you can check that out. Now, we can use definitely if and else here, but can I use something like ternary operator? Yes, but I'll give that as a simple exercise for you so that you can actually turn this code into refactored one and much more easier one. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to simply check whether what is happening. So how do we access that? That's the important point. So notice we have got this first card variable got access. You can access all the attributes by saying I want to just get a data set here. So all the data attributes hold inside the data set. And then whatever is the name of it. So in my case, it's the data attribute, then whatever you have called it. In my case, I've called it as image, but it could be data dash picnic, data dash Superman, whatever that is. We can go ahead and say, I want to grab that one. So if the first card.dataset.image is actually equals to second card.dataset.image, then it's definitely a success. So I'm going to simply call a success method there, like that. And if not, then obviously I have to go into the else part and I can go ahead and do a success, not success, a fail this time. There we go, nice and easy. So now inside the success and fail, we're going to do console log again. So let's go ahead and do the log part. And we're going to say a success, copy that, come back here, paste that, and we're going to say failed. Yeah, badly written failed. Failed. There we go. Now let's see this much of the code, how much we are doing up here. And we hit a reload, and there we go. I click on this guy, I click on this guy, and it says, oh, there is a success. Okay, nice and easy. But what if I don't do the success, this one and this one? Yeah, we failed. Making good progress, making good progress. Okay. Now coming up onto the part that you definitely are getting a success and a fail. Now, what else you want to do on top of that? I would like to do something on success, and definitely do check out something for the reset. So let's go ahead and comment this. First and foremost, what do you want to do when you hit the success? So once I hit the success, I want to go on to this first card. And just like I have added an event listener, I would like to remove this listener as well. Remove event listener. There we go. Missed an E there. There we go. Nice and easy. What do I want to do is I want to remove an event listener there, click, so that somebody cannot click on it again. And you have to pass on the method that previously was passed. So this is kind of a syntax. I don't know why they need this method. I think in the later on version, I would like to get away from this. Just remove an event listener, whatever the event listener you have set off, and this should automatically go away. But who am I to say this? Okay. And we're going to do the same for second card. And this time we are removing the event listener, which is click and stuff like that. And then after that, I would like to call this reset. So whatever the reset is doing, just go ahead and do this. In fact, reset is super easy to do. So what all the things you have set up here, the variables, they need to go in exact the same position what they were at the start of the game. So I can just go ahead, copy them, and I can paste them in the reset. But there is an issue. Previously, we were able to get away from this, and of course, I don't need var because I want to refer the top variables. There we go, nice and easy. Previously, we were able to get away by just initializing the first card, but right now this is not going to work because you have to flush the value whatever they are holding. So it would be good if I just go ahead and say null, and this one also needs to go as null. Surely I wouldn't do these kinds of things like this. I would use some of the spread operator or maybe something like destructuring of the value. But again, that's for you to practice your stuff. Okay. So we have got the reset and we have reset the first card and all of them. We have removed the event listener and stuff like that. So it's good. But what happens when you actually fail? When you actually fail, what I want to do is kind of flip back those classes. So the goal basically is that the flip class what was added into this, now I want to remove it. So that if I go back here, I have clicked on this one and I have clicked on the wrong one, they kind of flip back. That's the whole game. And can we do it? Pretty simply. Just like if you had no problem in adding these classes just like here, not here, let me show you where we did that. Here we did that. This dot class list dot add, just like we were able to add a class which was flip, we can actually remove this class as well. So let's go ahead and do that in the fail. So I come up here in the fail, I comment out all of this, I come back here, and I'm going to go ahead and say first card, and I want to go into class list and I want to remove. You can toggle it too, but I'm going to go ahead and remove this one. Which class do you want to remove? I want to remove flip. Make a duplicate of this, and this time it's gonna be second. There we go. Nice and easy, no big deal. Okay, let's go ahead and try that out. I click on this one, I click on this one, and what happened? Things are happening. Things are happening 100%, but we are not able to see because they are happening so instantaneously. I click on this one, I click on this one, nothing happens, so that's great. But when I click and move on to fail method, then it's flipping. Definitely this one got flipped, but this one was instantaneous. So we need something to hold things for a minute. Do you know what holds the things for a few minutes? Yes, you know it. So cut down this one. And we have talked quite a lot about these set timeouts and stuff. I hope you remember the game stuff. So arrow functions, because that's what needed to do. This is what you tell what to do. And then you tell the time, probably after 1 second. I think that's more than enough. And here we write the code part. There we go. Simple solution. You know all about it. Let's go up here and hit a reload. Just for the satisfaction, not needed. I click on this one, I click on this one, and there we go. I think 1 second is enough. And if you want to be a bit more fast, you can always be fast. Okay, and this is a bit of a corner case. We can actually get rid of that. We will be going on that. But if we don't do it, notice here that again I try it. We are not actually doing it. Definitely a corner case. We can actually work on that. We will be working on that, don't worry, but we can do that. So right now the reset is actually working a bit nicely and pretty awesomely, to be honest. Okay, so check part and all of that is working nicely, but there is a little bit more that we would like to add up. Right now these things are always into this part, so everything is going up there. Now we want to do a little bit of the shuffling, and let me show you how the shuffling is going to be done. So come back here. So we're going to create a simple function for shuffle. There we go. Nice and easy. Now what I want to happen in the shuffle, first and foremost, I want to shuffle to happen all of the cards. So I already got this variable cards that I can use. And I definitely can run a for each loop on individual cards, just like that. So every time, every single card is given to me. Now comes up the interesting part, which is moreover like a flexbox. Okay, so what happens is, let's just create 16. We need actually for every single card, we need a position. So kind of index needs to be generated. So we're going to simply call this one as index. And that index needs to generate from math.floor. And we are going to generate it through math.random. And then this math.random needs to be multiplied by 16. So we get different values up here. So what it does actually, basically math.random gives a random value between 0 and 1. And when you multiply it by 16, it gives you a random value between 0 and 15. So that's what we get. And now what we have to do is use a flexbox property, which is card.style.order. Oops, what all it is writing, gibberish. Card.style.order. Flexbox gives you the property of order. Let's just say you have many divisions and you want a particular order on these divisions, regardless of where you have declared them in the HTML. You can provide this extra class of flexbox, which is order, and the numbers you're writing in the order, that's where the element is going to appear. So this is moreover like a flexbox, and we can just give that an order of like this. Okay, but the problem is, how am I going to run this method? If you remember, we actually called a window.load onload a method previously on that. We definitely can do that. But since we have talked a bit more about that, very similar situation, I told you that you can actually wrap this up inside a parenthesis and can run it like that. It's totally up to you how you want to go. You can use the previous knowledge of window.onload, or you can use this one that as soon as the script runs, this method call itself and call it a day off. Or you can actually just go ahead and write it here, shuffle like that. So as soon as the script calls up, you can go ahead and do that. Again, variety of ways, no problem at all in whatever the one you use. I go up here, I click on this one, and I click on this one. Nope, they are not same. This one and this one, definitely not same. This one and this one, not same. And there we go. They are still taking a little bit of the time. So we need a little bit of the fixing part on that. And there we go. So definitely it's a little bit buggy yet. Let's go ahead and fix that. Click on this, click on that. Okay, click on this and click on that. Okay, so they are not flipping back. So we are having some of the issues on this case as well. So we need to figure out a little bit more. But I think that's a good start that we got in just one video. And I think the most important thing is you got some of the knowledge of how this is being done. But don't worry, we are going to take it down. I need to research a little bit more onto this, and then I'm going to come back again and we'll show you what are the cases, corner cases that we are missing, and definitely I have to give you assignment as well. So it's a good time to have a break, and let's catch up in the next one.